Immediately after the break-in, detectives spent hours gathering evidence, and now it's paying off thanks to a series of fingerprints that detectives found on scene that they now have a match with. This woman tells me she was driving right next to the explosion, heard the boom, and the next thing you know, this is the result. You can see the side of the car just covered in this dust and dirt. This shopping center here was one of the hardest hit by the tornadoes. You can see here, I'm at 41st and Hudson. Take a look at this Panera here. You can see the front of the building just completely torn off. The skating rink in Broken Arrow is now open, and so is the holiday pop-up shop just down the road here, where business owners hope to skate their way into new opportunities. When they searched the car, they found a large plastic container like this one here. They opened it up to find marijuana inside and small plastic baggies nearby. Police say the man didn't completely put his car in park. So when he hopped out of the car began to roll. It ended up crashing right into a nearby TPD patrol car. It is snowing. We have snow in South Tulsa. We've been waiting for it all night, and it is finally here. You can tell by my microphone here. Sorry, I should probably talk into it. It's coming in from the north.
I just got on my phone, I was on Facebook, and I was checking Messenger and stuff.
This woman was checking her messages last month when she came across one she didn't want to see.
There was a blue screen there, and it said tap to view. And I was like, well, what the heck is he sending me?
She tapped the screen and saw an image that made her stomach turn. A man naked from the waist down.
Disgusted, felt uneasy.
She immediately blocked the man from messaging her again. So you never asked for something like this?
No.
And you never said anything that would make him think you would want this? The woman works at the Adair County Jail. We're hiding her face and name to protect her identity. Police say the man behind that nude photo was former inmate Daniel Perez.
From the time he got out of jail, he started messaging me, and I told him the first time, I was like, if you need to contact me, I said, you need to call the department.
The woman says Perez sent several messages without a reply, but he didn't take the hint.
I had not replied to any of your messages. What makes you think that I want to see this?
The woman showed the photos to her supervisor, who contacted police. Police filed a report and handed it over to the district attorney's office.
This is the first time I've frankly received a report on something like this.
ADA Valeria Luster says the case was uncharted territory for her. She dug into case law to decide which charges could apply.
What has been done before? What do some of these words mean? Because frankly, I mean, this statute contains the word obscenity. What does obscenity mean?
Luster decided to charge Perez with recording or distributing obscenity. Luster says, to her knowledge, Adair County has never used the charge for a case like this. It's possible the charges could discourage others from sending something obscene.
That's the hope of the criminal system, is that you help reform these individuals and the community by deterring behavior that we find to be criminal.
The assistant district attorney tells me if you find yourself in a similar situation, the most important thing you can do is document it by taking screenshots or saving all your messages. The victim's saved messages help prosecutors file the charges. The woman says she never expected any real consequences against the suspect for this.
I was just going to forget about it.
But she's glad it's being taken seriously. She hopes others will feel empowered to take action when they become victims.
I hope that maybe one day that, they see that maybe it's not worth it.
You would go through here and go in and go into my office over here.
A tint shop in Muskogee.
I worked mainly over in this area.
Now just a pile of debris.
Pretty sickening. It's like, okay, this is my livelihood. Now what?
Owner Michelle Brooks says she didn't know her shop was gone until she saw the damage on TV.
And then there was my shop building. I said, my building's gone.
Now she's sifting through what's left of her business and former safe haven.
It's my passion, it's my livelihood, it's what I enjoy doing, working on cars and serving people.
The owner kept an antique sign collection here in the building. A lot of these signs were in mint condition until the storms hit. Michelle says she plans to rebuild, while people in the Whispering Pine apartments are trying to figure out their next move. The storm ripped off the roof of this building, leaving 8 families without a home.
They're going to have to start over because it's ruined.
Crews worked all day to clean up the debris. The Housing Department and Red Cross are working to find families a place to stay. Thankfully, there have been no serious injuries from this storm. There's marks on his head and stains on his clothes.
But Debbie Anderson sees past the doll's flaws and instead sees its potential.
And I would just sponge him until he's all nice and clean.
And the transformation goes beyond a quick scrub. Each doll gets a new outfit or a blanket to cozy up in, handmade in Debbie's living room. But Debbie isn't selling the dolls or gifting them to her grandchildren. Instead, these dolls are headed to Honduras, to children who may have never had a toy of their own.
They're in a desperate place.
Each of those dolls were once sitting in a garage or gathering dust on a thrift store shelf. It's taken 2 years, but Debbie has put the same TLC into nearly 500 dolls.
It makes me feel like I'm giving and sharing with the kids something that they wouldn't ordinarily be able to have.
After their makeover, each one is packed into a box along with clothes and toiletries and hand-delivered to Honduran children.
But it's very limited to the outside world. And so those kids may never get Christmas presents or never even celebrate Christmas possibly.
Avery Johnson handed out those boxes just a few weeks ago.
And one little girl took a doll out and she just held it against her chest and didn't look at anything else in the box. She was just content with her one doll.
It's those little girls that make the aching hands and hours spent over the sewing machine worth it for Debbie. Though she's never delivered the boxes herself, she got to meet some of the children when she visited Honduras one summer. There, she met a little girl she'll never forget.
Her mom said, "This is the lady that sent you the doll, go get it." She ran in the house and got it, and she said, "Do you remember this one?" And I said, "Yes, I do." It was very, very special to her. You could tell she had taken care of it and just really loved her baby.
The two couldn't be more different. Debbie, a woman from Collinsville, Oklahoma, and a little girl living a humble life in a Honduran village. But in that moment, they weren't strangers or very different at all. They were just two people brought together by a love of dolls and a greater appreciation for Christmas.